theorems of circles. So we are going to discuss about the theorem chords of a circle that subtend equal angles at the center are equal. So suppose we draw a circle first. Drawing a circle is a must in every theorem. Whenever you have to prove a specific theorem, drawing the diagram is must. Then what does this theorem says? Chords of a circle that subtend equal angles at the center are equal. We need to take two chords, chord AB and chord DC. Always the center is O. Here the theorem says that chords of a circle that subtend equal angles at the center are equal. What does the word subtend means? Subtend means that when an angle is formed from the ends of two chords, this means that chords of a circle are subtending equal angles. We have that the two angles are equal. It means angle AOB is equal to angle DOC at the center are equal. Now how to prove this? Whenever we are given an equation or in whichever subject, for example chemistry or physics or mathematics, first we need to write what is given to us. Given angle AOB is equal to angle DOC. This is given to us. Now what do we need to show? It means what do we need to prove? We need to prove that AB is equal to ED. DC. AB is equal to angle DC. We are given that angle AOB is equal to angle DOC and we need to show that chord AB is equal to chord DC. Now how to prove this? We can see that there is center O and radiuses are forming from here. This is one radius OD and this is second radius. So we can say OD is equal to OC because all the radius in a circle are of the equal length. So OD is equal to OC. Reason they are radii. Plural for radius is radii, and the reason is a must in the exams because if you don't write the reasons then you might get less marks. Reasons are very much important and the diagrams also. These both things, the reason and the diagram, contains marks. So OD is equal to OC. This is also a radius OB. OB is equal to OA. Reason radii. Now we can see that these two sides and these two sides are equal of this isosceles triangle, and we have a property that if we are having an isosceles triangles then the angles forming at the opposite angles forming on the equal sides are always equal. That means angle A and angle B. Here angle B is equal to angle A. Reason opposite angles forming on equal sides. This same property will be applied here. The angle D will be equal to angle C. Angle D is equal to angle C. opposite angles forming on equal sides, and angle A will also be equal to angle B. Angle A will also be equal to angle B, and the reason is same. Opposite angles forming on equal sides are equal. So now what do we have? We have that these two sides are equal, and these two angles are also equal. Now we can use the SAS congruence here. SAS means side, angle, side. We have two sides and we have one angle between them, so we can use the SAS congruence here, which through which angle triangle, this is a triangle ODC, so ODC is congruent, this is the sign of congruency, is congruent to triangle OBA. Now congruency states that if two triangles are congruent, then it means that their sides are matching and their angles are also matching. So automatically AB is equal to DC as the two angles are congruent. So AB is equal to DC. Hence proved. Now we will move to our next theorem, which is the line joining the center of a circle and the midpoint of a chord of the circle is perpendicular to the chord. Now what does this mean? As I initially said that drawing a diagram is always a must. So first I will take a compass, a pencil, and then I will draw a circle. We need to prove this theorem. You should always know how to prove the theorems as they can be asked in your exams. So I have the circle. Its center is O. The center forms at the point at which I kept my compass needle. The line joining the center of a circle and the midpoint of a chord. So now it states the chord. So we also need to make a chord now. This is a chord AB. Point A and point B forms chord AB. And it says that the line joining the center of a circle and the midpoint of a chord. So midpoint of the chord is the center of the chord. So we need to join these 2 points. The line joining the center of a circle and the midpoint of a chord of the circle is perpendicular to the chord. Now first we need to just recall all the prerequisite knowledge we have. Whenever we have a perpendicular, then its sign is something like this. Second, perpendiculars always form at 90 degree. We can use these 2 points. We can use our second point and this symbol to prove this theorem. Now how can we do? We can first join these 2 points and these 2 points. Now we have an isosceles triangle. Angle OAB is an isosceles triangle. Now why is it an isosceles triangle? You can see that from the center O, two radiuses are forming, radius radius OA and radius OB. And as I said earlier, that radiuses on uh, any point of the circle, connecting the center and any point of the circle, are always equal. So we can state that OA is equal to OB, and the reason is radii. The reason is also a must to write in the exams. Then, as I said, that the angles forming opposite angles forming on the two opposite sides, but they should be equal, so the angles are always also equal. What I mean to say is that these two sides are equal, and the opposite angles forming in between them will also be equal. So we can write that this angle A is equal to angle B. Angle A is equal to angle B. The reason: opposite angles forming on equal sides. Now this is our point O. We can take this midpoint of AB as M. Now we know that M is the midpoint of AB. If M is the center of this chord AB, then AM will be equal to BM. So we can write AM is equal to BM. Now what do we have? We have OA is equal to OB, means two sides are equal. Angle A is equal to angle B, means two angles are also equal. And AM is equal to BM. Now we can apply the triangle congruence here. Which triangle congruence? SAS, because we have side, angle and side, side, angle, side. So on applying SAS congruence, this triangle triangle OAM will be congruent to triangle OMB. Now we have stated that these two triangles are congruent. So we have done this much part. Now the second part is this. We can see that AB is a straight line, and we also know that a straight line forms an angle of 180 degree. So it means that AB is also forming an angle of 180 degree, and it is bisecting the chord. It is perpendicular to the chord. So as we just listed down that perpendicular always forms at 90 degree. So it means these two angles are also 90 degree. Then we can say that angle AMO is equal to angle OMB, which is equal to 90 degree. So both angles are 90 degree. That is OM. Remember that we were needing to prove that the chord of the circle and the line joining the center of a circle and the midpoint of a chord is always perpendicular, and we used this prerequisite knowledge that a perpendicular is always forming at 90 degree. And we have also observed through our diagram also and through our solving part also that this angle AMO is 90 degree, and this angle BMO is also 90 degree, which satisfies our this condition that the perpendicular is always forming at 90 degree. So it means that this OM line is perpendicular to AB. Hence proved. So in conclusion, what did we see? That the line joining the center of a circle and the midpoint of a chord of the circle is perpendicular to the chord. What did we do first? First, we made the diagram, which is must. Then automatically those two sides of the triangle are equal as they are the radius. So OA is equal to OB. In every diagram we need to identify if radiuses or radii are there or not. So we can say that the two radius are equal. Then then using this property, opposite angles forming on equal sides are equal. We find it that the angle A is equal to angle B. So we find its side and angle. Then with the help of this question we made the diagram, and through this diagram also it is clear that M is the midpoint of AB. It means M lies in the center of AB. So it means that this AM and this AB are equal. They are equal in length. So AM is equal to BM. We find it this side also. Then after applying SAS congruence, we found that triangle OAM is congruent to triangle OMB. So angle AMO is this is congruent to triangle OAM is congruent to triangle OMB. Now we can see that AB is a chord. It is a straight line. It is forming an angle of 180 degree. So it means that if a line bisects it, then the two angles are 90 degree. 90 degree plus 90 degree is equal to 180 degree, which satisfies this condition. So if this bisects of the chord, or if it is perpendicular to the chord, then AM should be 90 degree and BM should also be 90 degree. We have found it. Angle AMO is equal to angle OMB is equal to 90 degree. So both angles are 90 degree, which satisfies our this condition. So OM is perpendicular. This is the sign of perpendicular. So OM is perpendicular to AB, hence proved. Let me remind you that whenever we get a question to prove the theorems of circle or to solve the questions, then drawing the diagram, mentioning the reasons is a must. Third, always look for matching sides, angles and congruence of triangles. What does this mean? That I already mentioned that diagram and the reasons are a must. Then whenever you get a question, then you should interpret the question and look for the then you should make the diagram. On the basis of diagram, you should identify the matching sides as well as the angles, and then you should prove the congruence of triangles. Then you will arrive on the answer. So this is how you solve a question for the circles. So the lesson ends here. I will be showing and proving the other theorems in the next live session. Till then, you can also check out my science lessons on the shorts channel, on the shorts section in my channel. I have also explained the topic momentum of physics. What is momentum, formula and derivation. Its key points is the derivation of the F is equal to ma, and also the theorems of circle. So please subscribe this channel, as I am putting loads of efforts for making you all understand. Please like and subscribe this video. Please like and share this video and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching.